What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting to you from, where is this? Vernon, Rockville? I don't know. I'm somewhere in CT, man. But I'm all settled in. And of course, I had to kick it with you guys. So here goes. I see that Bill Maher, who, he's a bit of a Democrat, but I've noticed over the last few years he's become more centered. He's not the far left nut jobs like some of the other ones. I think he was pretty intense left, but over time he was seeing just how crazy some of the things that they were pushing was getting, and he decided he wasn't with a lot of this stuff after all, and he became a bit more centered. But he was talking recently that something needs to be done about The View, because he believes that The View is what led to Donald Trump winning. And I'm like, what does he mean by that? I know they say some ridiculous stuff, but I don't think The View itself is solely responsible for Donald Trump winning. And he pointed to that interview where Kamala Harris came on there and Sunny Hostin asked her the question of, is there anything that she would do differently from Joe Biden? And she answered it, no, there's nothing that she would do differently. I mean, that was damning, but I don't know. They basically credited Sunny Hostin with upending her whole campaign. No. As much as I don't care for Sunny Hostin, and I think that she is batshit insane sometimes, I don't think it's fair to credit her with that. That's a bit of a stretch, especially when you take into account the question that she asked wasn't anything radical. It wasn't a gotcha question, anything like that. Is there anything that you would do differently from Joe Biden? And she asked that question because, one, it's a reasonable question. Two, it's a question that Sunny knows people really want an answer to. And three, it's a question that Kamala should have expected. It's not like it was some trick question of any sort. So, no, Kamala Harris should have expected that question, and she should have had a better answer for it. You know that she didn't want to basically like have her flabbergasted, if you will. She didn't want to ask her a question. She didn't want to ask her any tough questions. Those questions that she was trying to get at Kamala were as softball as they get. And that just goes to show you how just bad of a candidate she was, that she wasn't even prepared to answer something like that. She said she wouldn't change anything. Even Sunny herself was stunned by this answer. So she followed up like, nothing really? Like, you really wouldn't change anything? And she's like, no, she wouldn't change anything. And that was a bad thing, because you could tell, as much as they kiss Biden's ass on The View, and as much as they love to pretend like Biden was so perfect, so great, obviously there's some things that Biden did that they disagree with, because if they didn't, Kamala never would have been asked those questions. If everything Biden was doing was good, and y'all love everything Biden was doing, why would you ask her, is there anything that she would do differently from Biden? And when she answers no, you're like, are you sure? You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that situation made Kamala look silly, but it didn't torpedo her campaign. Let's be for real here. We can't credit Sunny Hostin with that. Hey, this is crazy, man. Is hell freezing over somewhere? Because it's wild when I, of all people, am defending Sunny Hostin. What the hell is going on here? Damn. Life comes at you fast, don't it? When I woke up this morning, I did not think that at some point during this day I would be defending Sunny Hostin. Yet here we are. I mean, hell, I never thought in my life I'd be defending her, but here I am. Fair is fair. She did not torpedo Kamala's campaign. Kamala's campaign was cooked from the beginning. When Biden announced that Kamala is who they would be installing, Kamala was cooked then. When they didn't do any sort of primary so that there could be any sort of vote, regardless of how rushed, how emergency it is, when they announced that they were installing Kamala, we all knew Kamala was inept. She was cooked then. Her campaign was torpedoed from the outset. And every time she opened her mouth, every time she did one of her goofy interviews where she tried to like manage what questions could be asked, and even though she would be asked questions that she approved of, she still struggled to answer them. She just proved over and over and over and over and over why she was inept and had no business. And let's not forget, before Kamala started running, we all agreed Kamala was like the worst VP ever. I'm old enough to remember that we all, both sides of the aisle, were in unison about how bad of a candidate Kamala was. Well, no, I'm sorry. About how bad of a VP Kamala was. Like, she was god-awful. And then she started running. She became the presidential candidate. And all those people on the left who were once saying what a terrible VP that she was, were now pretending like she was the greatest thing ever. I personally know people who fit that. One minute we were laughing together about how bad of a candidate she was, and this is in the beginning. They're like, wait, no, what? They picked Kamala. They're like literally laughing about this. And why are they laughing about this? Because she was a terrible VP. And like a few days later, they were drinking the Kool-Aid hard. They're like, oh no, Kamala's great. I wish I was making this up, man. So we went from walking in lockstep about what a terrible VP she was. She was missing in action. She was just never available. I mean, people talked about Mike Pence was absent. She was even more absent than him. And that's saying a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. It's not Sunny Hostin's fault that Kamala lost. It's Kamala's fault Kamala lost. She never should have been VP in the first place. She never should have been in the position to run for president. That was crazy. The woman that Biden picked as his VP that had no business being VP in the first place, he then announced that she would be the one running against Donald Trump. I mean, they pretty much, the Democrat Party in itself gave that election to Donald Trump on a silver platter. And the fact that they were so concerned about all this stuff, they kept pushing women's rights, they kept pushing back against immigration, they kept pushing about trans stuff. I mean, they were just too far left. They weren't addressing any of the concerns that people actually had. This is why they lost. It ain't got nothing to do with Kamala appearing on The View. I mean, listen, I'll say this and I'll wrap this up. If that one appearance on The View was really enough to torpedo her campaign, she shouldn't have been running in the first place. I'm gonna leave it there. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. And me them comments. I'm holla at y'all. Peace.